Hi, in this video we're going to discuss how you can create an image classification model using a CNN. Previously, you looked at regressive models in TensorFlow. Regressive models are used to forecast out a particular data point given other data points. For example, given a historical population trends for bald eagles, you can use a regressive model to forecast future populations. In this lesson, you're going to specifically look at image classifications. For example, you could create a tree classification model. You would train the model by providing training data with labels. After training the model, you could then provide a new image, and the model would attempt to classify that tree as one of the categories it was trained on. The model actually calculates a probability that the image will fall into each category. And then you take the highest probability, and that becomes the model's guess. So introducing convolutional neural networks. So convolutional neural networks are a type of neural network that are commonly used to classify images. A convolutional neural network, or CNN for short, consists of two main parts: the convolutions step, which is a process where a weighted value is calculated for each pixel, and a max pooling step that is used to reduce the image using a maximum value algorithm. Let's take a look at each of these individually. Let's start with a black and white image of Carol as an example to see how a convolution is done. We will assume that Carol is just a 4x4 pixel. In reality, Carol is a lot more pixels than that, but this will work for our example. Each Carol pixel value can be represented by a value from 0 to 255. But for modeling, we're going to normalize these values and make them all between 0 and 1. Lighter values are closer to 0, and darker values are closer to 1. Here's where the convolution happens. A 3x3 convolution uses a weighted 3x3 grid. Notice that the middle of the kernel weights have a higher value compared to the edges in the corners. Let's look at how we apply this to our Carol image. So we're going to start with the green pixel. So we're going to apply that 3x3 grid around that green pixel. Now we're going to map each pixel value to the weight. So we start with 0.4 times 1. We then add to that the 0.5 times 2, the 0.9 times 1, and so on. When you do that, you get this big string, and you add everything up and you get 9.7. So that 0.8 in our convolution becomes 9.7. Let's take a look at how we do this for a corner. So recall we said we needed a 3x3 grid, but in this case we don't have a 3x3 grid. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we handle the edges. In TensorFlow, it handles the edges by padding it with a bunch of zeros. And there's actually other ways to do it, but this is the way we're going to do it in our models. When we do that, we create these extra zeros around our grid, and we can now come up with a value of 4.6 for that one. Now, if we filled in the rest of the grid, we would get values that looked like this. So now the second part of our process is called max pooling. So max pooling is the process where we reduce the image by finding the maximum value in a smaller grid. So we're going to use a 2x2 max pooling grid. And so for that, we split our model into a 2x2 grid. And when we do that, we take each of those grids and we find the maximum value and we translate that over into our new image. So the maximum value in that top left grid is 8.8, and that gets moved over into our max pooling grid. The second one, 9.6, and so on. We can then complete the grid to look like this. Now notice that you've taken a 4x4 picture of Carol and reduced it to a 2x2 grid with 4 numbers. This will help make the model easier to work with, especially for larger images. So let's take a look at how we're going to apply this in TensorFlow. For this example, you're going to work through weather images to classify them as either rainy, cloudy, sunny, or a sunrise. You will feed a set of images into TensorFlow to make a model that can predict whether the image is rainy, cloudy, sunny, or sunrise. So how do we do this? Well, the model is very similar setup to how we did before. We start with a sequential layer, but instead of using dense layers first, you're going to use that convolutional 2D layer. This 16 here represents the number of convolutional outputs to create for the model. You can think of these similar to how we created nodes in the last model. More outputs allow for more modeling complexity. You then specify the size of the kernel, so the 3x3 grid that we're going to apply. Remember, we use the term padding, and when we say padding is the same, what that means is we want to keep the image size the same. We don't want to reduce the image size, so we're going to pad it with zeros. Now, we're not going to get into activations, but again, we're going to add an activation layer in here, and what this is really doing is it's introducing nonlinearities into the model. And then finally, our input shape is our set of images. So the images are coming in as 150 by 150, and we use 3 here as in 3 color channels, red, green, and blue. So after the convolutional layer, we then apply a max pooling layer. And so again, we're going to specify the size of that max pooling grid, and in this case, it'll be a 2x2 grid. You can then specify other convolutional layers to help with more complexity of your image. Notice that these follow the same format minus the input shape. Finally, you need to apply an output layer. You'll start with a flattening layer, which translates the 2-dimensional grid into a 1-dimensional grid, which is a series of pixels that can be modeled more efficiently. Once the data is flattened, it is very similar to the regression model and can be fed into a dense layer like the last model you saw. After the hidden dense layer, a final output layer is applied. Notice that this final layer now has 4 nodes because there are 4 different image categories. This final layer uses a softmax activation, which essentially forces the model to create 4 probabilities for each image, representing the 4 probabilities in each category. These values will sum to 100%, and the highest value will be the model's prediction. The compile statement looks similar, but now you'll use sparse categorical cross-entropy for the loss model, as it fits categories better. You'll also add a metric component to capture the accuracy of the model. When teamed up with a set of validation data, you can capture a metric to show how well the model performs. The validation data are additional images not used in training the model. These images are run through the model to test how well the model predicts and can be a good indication of model accuracy for predicting new images. Now you can make a prediction using the model. The highest value indicates the most likely category. Now it's your turn to take a closer look at convolutional neural networks.